Hey y'all, Farmer Jesse here. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about some no-till beds that we're making right now, or some that we're actually refurbishing a little bit or kind of beefing up a little bit, and then some of our March plans. I know it's a big video, it's a lot of different things going on, so we better get to it. Let's do it. All right, first, right behind me, you can see under tarp, you can see the shape there. These are actually gonna be carrot beds. We're no longer growing a 4,000 square foot plot of potatoes. It's gonna be carrots now. We're gonna grow potatoes, just not as much as we've been growing. It's a very labor intensive crop and it's not a very high profit crop, so it just doesn't make sense for us to grow a lot of potatoes. You can just get them for cheaper from somebody else, and really you should. It just doesn't, we're gonna grow some, we're gonna talk about the no-till potato methods that we're gonna try later on, but for right now, this is all gonna be spring carrots. There's a little bit more that you can't see that's on the other side of this cat tunnel. I'm standing behind the cat tunnel because it's, you know, sunny as all get out. So basically, what I did was I just, for all of these plots, there's 10 beds, or all these beds, and there's 10 beds, I just laid down about 9-ish barrows of compost. And then I spread those really thick. That's literally all I did there. I did put a little lime down. I'm having some question marks about lime. I've been digesting a lot of Elaine Ingham lately, and she's kind of got me a little bit messed up about some stuff. So I put down a little bit of lime, and then I put down some compost. I didn't do any other bed preparation. These were sweet potatoes before. There's still some sweet potato scraps and vines under there, which I really believe the worms like. Had some good luck last year when we had them over here. When we plowed this up, this thing was loaded with worms. I really think they love the rotting sweet potatoes. So I let those sweet potatoes get frosted a few times before I started putting compost down, then I put compost down. Next week, I'm gonna start planting this to carrots. We'll talk about how that goes later on, but the goal is plant it, cover it plant it to carrots, cover it, and then in March, we're hopeful that we will have March and April carrots. That's the goal. And the goal is also to have them germinate slightly after the solstice. Take about 20 days this time of year, so right around December 1st, I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna guess about 20 days to germinate carrots in this temperature. And then if we can get it just on the other side of the winter solstice, according to Brian O'Hara, that's the best time, if you can get them to germinate sort of on the other side and as close to the solstice as possible, that they will avoid bolting, because carrots are a biennial. So if you plant them, and it gets warm, they germinate, and then it gets cold, you know, from frost and freezes, and then it gets warm again, that they think they went through a whole season and a winter, and then they will flower. So that a lot of times in the spring you'll run into, if you try this sort of thing, you'll run into carrot flowering. So we don't want that, we want carrots, and so we're gonna go for it. We'll see how that goes. The other thing we're doing, I'm gonna step out here into the sun. Yeah, that's exciting. And talk a little bit about what we've got going on here. I'm not done with these beds yet, but I'm just gonna talk about what we're doing. Again, all we're doing is putting compost down as a cover. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna plant some spinach in here for March. Same kind of thing like with the carrots. We want early March, April spinach. So, and then the other thing I'm gonna do is I've got some compost tea working. I'll go show you that in a second. That is I'm trying to encourage some microbial life that thrives in this sort of temperature, because such a thing exists. I want aerobic microbial life that thrives in that sort of 30 to 50 degree range to spray a compost tea on top of this as I seed it to get, hopefully get some better microbial life in here to help those spinach along. And then I'm gonna cover it. So this is all gonna be spinach. There are gonna be 2 or 3 beds of Napa cabbage, which is a little bit of an experiment. If I ever say that I'm not gonna experiment, I'm lying. I'm gonna experiment, I just can't help myself. I've got enough room to play around, so I'm gonna do that. And so yeah, that's gonna be this. The one thing that I kind of wish I did, or I wish I had done, or which I will start doing maybe, is adding a layer of paper mulch underneath it. You know, that cardboard paper that you can get. I really kind of think that would be a great weed suppressant in certain areas, and I may start doing that. The one thing about these is that they weren't I didn't have to add 9 barrows of compost to this. These only get 3.5 extra. They already had like 5 or 6 last year to beef that up just a little bit, and so I added about 3 or 4 to these and then just spread it out really thin because I don't need a lot of compost. I just need I didn't need the ground covered. Yeah, these things are super frosty. So that's not lime, that's all frost, all that white. Oh yeah, I can talk about this for a second. This is behind me. Can you see that? I can't tell if you can see that. All right, so behind me, right here, is the garlic patch, and you can see, how well can you see that? You can see all that green in there. Some of that is garlic and some of that is peas. It's a winter pea, so it's probable that it won't die. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. My goal here is that if in the spring, if they're not dead, I'm gonna make like some shoes. I'm gonna take some old shoes, staple some boards to the feet, and however that'll work, and then I'm just gonna stomp them down. I'm just gonna walk right over top of those peas and try and stomp them into the ground. I like having multiple crops grow in the same bed at the same time. It's good for the microbial diversity and the health of the soil, so it's not the end of the world as long as it doesn't ruin my garlic yields. But I love the idea of having a legume in there all winter, pumping nitrogen in there, and just kind of hanging out and keeping that soil there and keeping a lot of life in it. That way those garlic will thrive. I was not super happy with our garlic last year. Let's just go look at this tea real quick. It's been going for about 24 hours. I'm gonna let it go for about 48 hours. We'll just look at it. All right, so that looks pretty good. I've got a rock tied to the end of my little aerator there. Goes all the way to the bottom. This aerator is a VibraFlow. I don't know. I just got it from the pet store. You can go to the fish people. So you want to keep it aerated. And you can see, it smells good. It smells kind of like seawater a little bit. The idea there, you want to really encourage the aerobic microbial life. You don't want the anaerobic stuff. So I'm going to let this run for probably 48 to 72 hours and just see how it looks and how it smells. And then I'm going to spray that as I seed over top of that spinach and those carrots. Incentivize that microbial life to take root in the garden, especially this cold weather microbial life. I don't know, it's a little bit of an experiment, but it's not that dangerous. It's a lot of air in there, and all that's in that compost tea is a little bit of compost, some humic acid from the worm bin stuff, and a little bit of IMO2, so the KNF stuff. I think that's it, yeah. Before I let you go, I wanna talk a little bit about the plan for March that isn't out there. Our other plan is that we're gonna load this. Actually, all of our tunnels will be pretty well loaded. We're kind of loading up this under tarp right here is just some arugula finishing off, and just kind of want to tarp it down because I'm gonna put more kale there. There's some kale here that we just picked off of, and then I'm gonna fill this whole thing was supposed to be kale, but that's gonna be kale, that's gonna remain kale, and then we're gonna put some more lettuce and stuff in here. And we've also got some celery in the works. We've also got some green onions are gonna be a big thing, Napa cabbage like I mentioned. All of that stuff will be planted with the express intention of having a bulky March produce offering. We'll see. I mean, March is one of the hardest times to have vegetables because you're coming off of January and February, and also it's still really cold, and also it's the days are still kind of short. They're getting bigger, but it's a funky time to try and have vegetables, but the demand is really high, so we want to have a lot of vegetables in March. And if I can get better at growing March vegetables, that could really increase our farm income. So that's the goal. What do you guys do for March? What are the vegetables that you're growing? How do you get it in that early spring? Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Share that a little bit. Be curious to know. Anyway, like this video if you like this video. Also make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to share this video and any videos you like with your friends on your social media and that sort of thing. Other than that, you all, thanks for watching. A lot. I appreciate it. And I hope it's helpful. Anyway, thanks guys. We'll see you later.